Allora, la prima azienda di oggi è Borg Automotive, che è un'azienda internazionale specializzata nella rigenerazione di componenti automotive, che sviluppa soluzioni per il mercato aftermarket combinando qualità industriale e principi di economia circolare. Innanzitutto vi ringraziamo per far parte del Manuthon e per aver presentato appunto questa challenge ai nostri studenti ed in particolare oggi Mariam Gerbi di Borg vi presenterà appunto la challenge relativa e l'azienda stessa. Altri referenti di questa challenge saranno Lorenzo Gaspari e Maria Chiara Magnamini del Politecnico di Milano.
Mm.
Mariam will speak in English for this type of challenge. So, students, if you have some questions in English or also in Italian, we can, of course, help you out. And if you have any issues in English translation, please let us know. So, Mariam, if you want to start, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will just share the slides first and then yeah, I think now you can see the slides, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone, and glad to be here to introduce you to first the company and then the challenge we're proposing here for Manuthon. And I will also, of course, talk about remanufacturing because maybe some of you are not really familiar with the remanufacturing process, or at least the business model. So it's important to give an overview of the business model. To introduce myself, I'm Mariam. I work at Borg Automotive as a business innovation manager, and basically my role consists in identifying potential improvements, whether it's product related, service related, or any other, let's say, innovation that could bring the company further. This includes, for instance, the inspiration coming from you students, or also collaborations in research activities and different endeavors like this. The company itself here, is Borg Automotive Reuman. And we have also present Maria Chiara, who's representing also Reuman, which is a research project that we're part of that is really focused on remanufacturing. And I wanted to highlight it here. Reuman, it's about remanufacturing. It's about human-centric remanufacturing approach for the European industry. It's a funded European project, Horizon Europe project, and we are part of it mainly as a use case where we are working on new product development like electric motors, which are products for new powertrains, mainly electrified vehicles. So this is a mention. I don't know, Maria Clara, if you want to add something on Reuman before I come to company introduction. But
I think that it was super clear. I would highlight that European projects are quite complex to be managed because they involve, as you see, many partners from all across Europe, but at the same time quite challenging and interesting. Thank you, Mariam.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's a great opportunity to collaborate with the industry, other industry, of course, partners, and with academia as well. So, but it's complex, of course. Yeah. Okay, moving now to the company introduction, and I will be introducing Borg here. So what do we do? So the mission of the company is to give new life to vehicle by providing sustainable automotive solutions. This means that we want to make sure that vehicles do not end, let's say, scrapped, or at least the spare parts of the vehicle do not end in scrap yards before they really need to go there. And for that, we are doing remanufacturing of automotive spare parts. This is a process that brings back the spare parts to like a new condition or better than new condition. And you can see an example here of a brake caliper, for instance. On the left, you can see how it comes to us, meaning this is a brake caliper, for instance, that has been used in a vehicle for, I don't know, 5 years. We take it back, so it's circular economy, and then we regenerate it, we remanufacture it to bring it back to the condition of like the picture on the left. So quality-wise, it's the same. But I will give you more details on that. And on spare parts, because this is something I noticed when I'm introducing the company to university students who are not familiar with the industry. We talk about spare parts, not the full vehicle. Sometimes people confuse both in terms of like the business model. What we're doing is really taking, let's say, an alternator, a starter, and not like the full vehicle and remanufacturing all the parts. So it's one spare parts that is taken. And examples, I mean, a vehicle has multiple spare parts that makes it work. So that's how to do. Overall, the company, the group, is more than 2,000 employees. We are part of an industrial conglomerate called SCO. So it's in the Danish stock market. So it's a company headquartered in Denmark. To give you an idea, we have on average more than 264 million euros in revenue. It was the case in 2024, increased, but I didn't update the slide. And it's a value-based management as well. Yeah, in the company, I mean, it's a structure that is around different, let's say, target customers in a way. We have mainly our core business, let's say 90% of what we do is remanufacturing. So, and we have it through two channels, let's say, Borg Automotive Reuman, which covers the independent aftermarkets. And I will highlight after what we mean by independent aftermarket. But this is independent garages, for example, that will use these parts. And we cover this through our own brands, DRIL, Stock, Lucas, and TMI, that you may have. If you own a vehicle, maybe you encountered one of them when you replaced the spare part. And we also cover private label customers, meaning it can be OE customers, so original manufacturers, who use us as, let's say, suppliers of remanufactured parts. So they send us their used units and we remanufacture, and they sell them under their own brands. And this is under CPI. And then new production, so Borg Automotive Neuma, I won't focus at all in it, but this was to complement our portfolio with products that are almost impossible to remanufacture, basically because of the complexity, either because of the design that is not okay to lead to remanufacturing, or because you cannot be profitable with such products. I give example like brake pads, for example, which are for a really quickly, let's say, cheap product usually that you find cheap as a new product, but the reman process with the reverse logistic and all is complex, and then therefore it's complicated to offer this and to be profitable, let's say. And we are mainly active in Europe. Our main market is European market. We have all our production is in-house, meaning we have our own factories doing the remanufacturing process in Spain, Poland, Tunisia, and we have several distribution centers and warehouses. And here are you can see the portfolio, the products we have: starters, alternators, EGR valves. But one important fact is that on each product we have multiple references, meaning for each product we're talking about more than 3,000 references, sometimes 2,000, etc., and which makes it, let's say, a high diversity of products. For instance, for starters, you can find, let's say, 2,000 types of starters, different shapes, different weights, different different applications, which makes the production process a high mix, high mix and production process with low volume in the batches, which complexifies it. As I mentioned, quality is extremely important in Reuman. Example is that at the end of the production line, every single unit is tested functionally. This is not the case in traditional manufacturing systems. Usually you take one product in a batch and you test it and then you validate your batch, for instance. Here in Reuman, whatever parts goes through the process, it needs to be tested. And we're talking about 2 million parts that we remanufacture per year. So you imagine, the process for that. And this is also a process that is quite, I wouldn't say complex, but requires knowledge as well. So we have trained and skilled employees because we do a lot of reverse engineering on the parts or in the disassembly process that remains quite manual because of the complexity to automate it. People are quite trained for that. So yeah, that's an important highlight. All the OE cores are manufactured, so original cores. And the term cores is referring to the used units that we collect back from the market. So when I say core, it's the used unit. And we only remanufacture original ones, original brands. And of course, our products match the original equipment suppliers' standards. And we offer 2 years warranty on all of our products with unlimited mileage. So it's a similar warranty than a new product as well to certify this superior, let's say, quality and this like new quality. And you can see, of course, that all our production sites are certified according to ISO certification. We have the EcoVadis bronze certification as well. Yeah, so it's quite compliant, let's say. In terms of remanufacturing, I defined it a bit, but to go more in depth, it's a big part of the circular economy. Unfortunately, we don't talk about it enough. It's quite present in the industrial, industrial companies, airplanes, maritime. You can find it also in industrial machines, etc. And it's at the top, let's say, of the waste hierarchy because it's like you're sort of after repairing, you're reusing, you're making sure that you're reusing a product, you're keeping your development life cycle to longer, you're making it longer, which of course is a big contributor to that. And what does it look like? You can see here the Reuman process. Mainly, it's more complex than this, but it's mainly 6 big steps, let's say 6 important steps. The first one is the disassembly process. So you have a unit, an alternator, let's say, that comes back to our production facility, and then we disassemble it completely. So all the subcomponents of the unit are disassembled. And then these subcomponents are going through the different processes. Cleaning first. When I say cleaning, we're not talking about just putting some water and brushing. It's really different cleaning techniques. Here on the picture, you can see sandblasting, for example. We have big washing machines. We use ultrasonic baths, for example, etc., etc. A lot of different processes, a combination of all these processes to arrive to let's say a clean, almost like new product. And then we have the inspection and sorting. This is the phase where these cleaned components are checked based on the parameters of original components. Does it respect, I don't know, the different diameters? Is everything okay? Of course, this goes to expert machines and all. It's not something that is just visually done. So this is, the inspection part. After this inspection part, we will have either reconditioning and replacement. This is the fourth step, meaning, okay, we check the parameters. Maybe some components will not respect these parameters. They need some regeneration process. We will be milling, for example, the unit, or we will do some thread repair or drilling again the unit, etc., until it respects the parameters. Some other components are automatically replaced every usually brushings or plastic components, etc. They are replaced with new units. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have the some regeneration processes, some replacement processes, and then at the end, we will reassemble the product, these subcomponents, and then do the final testing based on OE parameters to like the functional test, final test, to make sure that it respects. And with every product, we put the certification proving that the test was passed to show that it's remanufactured and respects automotive, let's say, standards. Then it goes back into circulation and is used again in a car or truck or whatever. Now, what's the difference between remanufacturing and repair? This is confusing sometimes. When we talk about remanufacturing, as I said before, it's really bringing back a product to the same condition as a new product. As I said in the process, every unit is checked, some regenerated, some completely replaced with the new ones, etc. So we're talking about a higher level of quality because the whole unit is warranted. Even if it can have one problem only in one subcomponent, let's say in a starter you have just a problem with the stator, we don't care. We disassemble it no matter what, and we go through this process with all the subcomponents. When in repair, you focus only on the stator, for instance. Or if you have, I give you a better example, you have a smartphone, let's say, and your screen is broken. You will go and repair the screen, and you will have a warranty. I don't know. I say it's just to give an example to illustrate, but you will have, let's say, a warranty on the screen. When for Reuman, you don't focus just on the functionality or making the product work again. You focus really on a higher quality level. So basically it, and you will have this full warranty, which is important. So I hope this was clear, but it's important to really highlight this. One is focused on functional functionality. One is really on a high level of quality and performance. And in terms of environmental impact, we've done a few years ago, we did document the environmental impact of our product through a life cycle assessment. And you can see here that, so these are data that are checked by a third party and done, I mean, this study is done in collaboration with a university. So it's really, let's say, a strict way to do that, to make sure that we're not just greenwashing. So compared to a new product, we know that remanufacturing is 60% less CO2 on average equivalent. It's 42% less energy used on average, and is 70% less, let's say, natural resources that are used on average. This is when we compare Reuman to new products. Of course, the better is not to consume at all at the end. And yeah, of course, we have full teams focused in research and development to make sure to check what products can be remanufactured. We act a lot in a blind way because it's quite complex. Let's say to have a unit coming back. When it's especially new platforms like electric platforms and all, we do not have, we're independent remanufacturer, meaning we're not attached to an original manufacturer, and therefore we do not have access to the past information related to this product, and we don't really have, let's say, design drawings or whatever. So we really need to understand through reverse engineering activities the product, how to remanufacture it, what tests to do. We develop a lot of testing also machines in-house, etc. So this is on Reuman. And when it comes now to the business model that we have, we are, as I said, an independent aftermarket player, which means that we cover the vehicles that come not at the end of their life, but either, let's say, at the end of the warranty of the vehicle. Let's say and I show you here an example of how the layers of this aftermarket are organized. Usually you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. These are the 4 layers. We have the manufacturers like us, or original manufacturers. So either the ones who produce the parts, the original parts, let's say, or the one who after we manufacture them. So we put them in the same basket. But if we take the manufacturer, so the origin of the part, where it started, when it's new and produced, then it will be distributed through national wholesalers or international distributors, so big importers and exporters that are really focused on having hundreds of suppliers, maintaining warehousing and products. The logistic is extremely important, etc. And then this distributor will sell to wholesalers, which are basically regional and local wholesalers who are really focused on proximity. So availability is important. They need to be able to offer the products needed to the workshop, so the garage, sometimes 4 hours after they request it, and they have some credit terms, technical advice as well, etc. And finally, you have the garage or workshop. This is where you will actually be in contact. I mean, you as an end consumer with the parts, and this person you will be in contact with. So they're the one who install the parts on the vehicle, and they're the interface with the end customer. Ourselves, we act as a remanufacturer. So what we do is we take these parts from the garages, and I will explain how, and we bring it back to remanufacture. And our customers are usually distributors. So we are not really in contact with wholesalers or garages. We really have, like, we're at the top of the value chain. So this is an important part. And yeah, as you see, there's lot of interactions because you have different suppliers who will work. Like you have, for instance, an original equipment manufacturer who will can collaborate, like we do with CPI, with remanufacturing company, to keep, let's say, the loop closed, but then they supply the car manufacturer, who also use Reuman parts for their aftermarket divisions. Some will, for OEM parts, it's only OES distribution division, which is focused really on the official, let's say, chain, meaning when the vehicle is under warranty. And then when we talk about equivalent non-OEM, so non-original, we're talking about independent players who will have different brands. To sum it up, because I know it's very complex, I would say that consider that when you go and buy parts, you have either original parts, which are the parts that originally were mounted on, I don't know, certain brand of vehicle. They're usually the most expensive ones because of the original part. And then you have non-original equivalents, like we propose, that can be either new. So usually it's part manufacturers that produce them, but they are not the original manufacturers. They offer alternatives, or remanufacturer, which offer an alternative that is high quality and that is, let's say, price-wise less expensive than the original, with a quality similar to the original, and that is not new because it has been remanufactured, and therefore there is also the environmental impact. So yeah, this is, and maybe to also clarify our aftermarket, I mean, what makes you competitive on the aftermarket as an independent player, as an independent company, is really the catalog that you have, meaning that you are able to cover most of the vehicles that are in circulation in Europe. What does it mean? That it means that, let's say, you have, I don't know, different Peugeot 206 model, Fiat 500, etc., that are in circulation in Europe. Whatever vehicle you own, you will find the part that is needed for it. The alternator for this Mercedes, the alternator for this Fiat, etc., etc. When for the original, usually it's just for the vehicle that is manufactured for it. I hope it makes sense. And of course, for that, we have stocks of units. We manufacture a high diversity of different parts. And for that, we need a lot of flexibility and efficiency, of course, in the process. And when it comes to how we remanufacture and how we arrive to that to that part where we are able to close the loop, let's say. I mean, when you go to the garage, if you have a problem with your vehicle, let's say, and you have to replace your alternator, the garage, as you, maybe I can use here. So here you're at the garage and you bring your vehicle and you need to replace an alternator. The garage will tell you, if you take a Reuman part, you can give us your old unit and you have a credit. So meaning when you send it back, you will be reimbursed a certain amount. So it will be less expensive because of that, because we pay for this part to bring it back, and you will have this like we will replace it with a new part. So the idea is we take, let's say, the spare parts from the customers directly, and we create a financial incentive to make sure that it comes back. Because if they know that they will be reimbursed, similar to when you go with bottles to the stores and they give you, I don't know, 30 cents to bring back the bottle, it's the same. We say the customers, but we do it directly. We give a new part, we take the old ones, and it comes back to our factory. So this is at the garages. Then, okay, as I said, the consumer gets the spare parts replaced and can continue driving the vehicle, and the garage will send back the part to the distributors. Then, or the wholesalers. The wholesalers themselves will send to the distributor, who then will send them to us to remanufacture. On average, 70% of our parts come back directly from customers. And then the 30%, if there are problems, they're broken, damaged, or anything, then we have core suppliers. There are companies who sell also used parts so that we can remanufacture. Yeah, and then again, it's remanufactured, goes back to the distribution link, and go back at the garage to be on another. Sometimes it can even be a process. On average, I would say 2 times it can be done, but there's not really a limit as long as the parameters, quality, etc., is respected. So imagine the impact overall, where you make sure that the parts, complex sometimes, mechanical, electronic, is really yeah, in a circular economy process. And I mentioned this deposit system. To remanufacture the spare parts, we need the used products, this course. In order to collect this course, it's a complex activity. And for that, we ask a deposit. Meaning you have a deposit that is paid. That is part of the price. Let's say of I don't know. Let's say you buy an alternator 400 euros. The fact that you give your units, you have a deposit system that is part of the 400 euros. If you give it back, you get 100 euros back. So it costs you 300. It's on average 30%, 50% less expensive Reuman than new units, again with the same quality. So yeah, this is how we collect it. This is how we create the incentive. I mean, this is the way we do, and this is the way most circular business model work, because it's hard to make someone, let's say, make the effort, no matter what, company-wise or end consumer-wise, make an effort if there is no, let's say, a way to incentivize for that. And now related to the challenge itself, and this is quite connected with everything I was explaining before. So this deposit system, the circular business model, the aftermarket, etc. The core deposit system, the core management, the fact that we are able to secure a certain amount of cores, used units, is extremely important, because without cores, there is no remanufacturing. You cannot remanufacture if you don't have the unit that you will remanufacture. The problem is the cores are fragmented everywhere in Europe. I mean, they are at your vehicle. And then how can we make sure that you can bring us this unit so that we can remanufacture? Sometimes people can buy I don't know, a spare part, and then they take their used units and take it at their place forever, and then we never encounter it. So how to make sure we do that? This is through the core deposit system that I was explaining over. This is through the financial incentive that we create. However, this financial incentive, when you see here, I show you some stats related to our different customers. So you see wholesalers, for example. This is a survey that has been done on 164 wholesalers, and on workshops as well, 621 workshops. And you can see that one of the core management, so the reverse logistic, the fact that they have to take back the cores and send us back to us and all, this is what they consider as the biggest burden and challenge when it comes to Reuman. You can see just here that the wholesalers, our direct customers, or the customers of our customers, but either way, it's quite, let's say, in contact with us compared, for example, to workshop. They consider this as the biggest burden. And I mean, the workshops, the difference with them is that when they, as long as they put a used part in the box, their supplier will give them back the money. But on our side, when the wholesalers send us back the parts, we do not automatically reimburse the amount. We will check the condition of the parts. If the part is not remanufacturable, we don't send back the deposit amount. If sometimes we have also, I mean, we do have crediting criteria. Let's say you send back an alternator. Our team in reverse logistic will check the condition. If it's completely damaged, zero reimbursement. Let's say it's partially damaged, then 80%. To damage, only 20%. So based on the condition, we will reimburse a different amount. This is complex because the lead time, I mean, it takes time for the units to arrive to our factory. So it means that the wholesalers, they will need to wait for us to do the check, the inspection. So they have a lot of cash that is paid somehow, and that is blocked, you know. And then they need to wait for us to validate, check, etc., to know how much they will be reimbursed, if they will be reimbursed. I think Cassie, you have the answer. Cassie is a colleague that is also connected here, but it takes on average, I think 2 months, something like that, for the, let's say, the part to, from it being sent, let's say, to it being like the customer reimbursed and all. Correct me
Yes,
if
that's right.
okay. So it's 2 months. So they have to wait 2 months for this to happen. So this is a big challenge, okay, in the industry. It's a big pain point. Again, yeah, and so the two highlights I would say here is this core management that is an issue. Sometimes the core they accept from the customer is not accepted by the suppliers of remanufactured part, which is us. And to give an example, better information, images and text on the exclusion criteria for deposits, refunds. This is something we do, but it's still not enough because it's still very complex process, you know. So yeah, and on the other way, it's the predictability of core acceptance, because they do not know again how much and when, etc., they will be reimbursed. So this is what is the biggest challenge. And here you can see, I mean, it's kind of the same, but how the supply chain work. I mean, because the way we get the cores is mainly from the customer here. So I mean, here, this is 70% of the units that will go back to Borg and bring us the cores. And then the 30% remaining will be from core suppliers, so from the upstream supply chain that will bring us eventually to compensate the cores that are not okay. If 70% of our cores come from customers, and we decide to delete. To get rid of this deposit system that is the biggest burden. How can we do to make sure that this 70% still come back to us? How can we make sure that the loop is still closed and that we secure this raw material that we use to remanufacture that is coming back? This is so this is basically the challenge that we're proposing here. Because the core deposit system is the biggest burden for our customers, because this deposit system is what can be the reason why they do not want to use remanufactured part, or they do not want to propose remanufactured part. What if in this world we could have we could find a way to suppress this financial incentive and to have another way to bring back the cores back and to have this closed loop supply chain? This is what we're asking you to think about and to try to basically challenge the existing business model and propose an alternative. And you have a case related to automotive industry. But this is a case that can be, let's say, the same for different industry in circular economy, because it's a common, let's say, burden overall. This reverse logistic, the need to bring back the units in order to remanufacture them or to recycle them or whatever it is. So it's an important part of the system. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share here on the challenge. And I invite you here to ask your questions in order maybe to clarify some points, because again, I know that it can be a bit complicated to understand at first. I advise to read a bit on remanufacturing and on automotive aftermarket. This will help prepare a bit before, because otherwise you may lose time understanding the structure rather than working on solving the problem. That's my advice, but up to you, of course, to do how you want. So yeah, and here I welcome questions, and sorry for that, but I have also my colleague Cassie here, and she will she can also answer questions if needed. So we'll be two on here.
Thank you so much, Mariam, for your very nice presentation. It was very clear that it's a very complicated business model, especially like the remanufacturing and the circular economy that you propose. I'm going to ask to the students if they have any questions. Se voi studenti avete qualche domanda da proporre, c'è qualcosa di non chiaro.
Anche in italiano, non c'è problema. Prego, Fanelli.
Prego.
Good evening. I would like to ask a question regarding the nature of the solution we need to propose. What shape, what format do we need to deliver it for the challenge?
You mean like in what sense? Because format, if I understand well, you mean do you need to prototypes like a text? This is what you mean by formats?
Exactly,
or,
exactly.
Okay. There's no specific format that is requested. I would say what it can be either thinking about a different business model, different way of operating. So it can be, I don't know, a drawing showing how it could act differently, but it needs to go into practical side rather than just research oriented side. It's not just need to be oriented towards like practicality. If tomorrow we need to change the business model, how do we know, how should we act? So I would say the format is recommendations. Up to you to decide how. It can be an archetype, drawing, something concrete to show the solution, basically, or to show a new business model. It can be also a technology that can support, but how can it support? So I would say a presentation that shows your train of thoughts and then the final result of how you came up with it. Yeah, Maria Clara, maybe you have a better answer than me, please.
I would add also, as Mariam was saying, from the technological perspective, also, for instance, an application like an app I mean, imagine like a toolkit for the company and for the users to apply this renew business model. So how would you act? How would you make the information exchange quicker? How do you incentivize the user? So I would say try to think out of the box, because you have time and you also have much information. And I would also suggest to exploit the manufacturing knowledge, in the sense that, for instance, how impactful are the technologies, the manufacturing and remanufacturing technologies in this challenge. So Mariam showed how the costs are distributed, but also the technologies involved. And when we say technologies, we mean both software and hardware. So hard technologies and soft technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. And to also add up to what Chiara just said, it's really important to make sure that it's something concrete and not high level. I mean, imagine yourself, take it as if tomorrow you had to open a Reuman company, let's say, and your innovation is really suppressing this core deposit system, how would you do? How would you pitch this to us and to convince us that this is the right way to proceed? Okay, so it's kind of imagine yourself, you're launching a startup, you're doing a pitch, and this is the activity that you're doing. What will you consider? Why do you work in that? How would you make sure that it works in the real world, etc., etc. So concrete. That's the if you have a solution that we could implement in reality, that would be that's the big win,
So they are willing to buy, guys. Okay, so
exactly.
there's
So
much
take it
space
like this.
for there's much space for innovation here.
We have also another question in the chat. Is the remanufactured part the customer gets the one that they sent, or is just a random model as long as it's compatible?
That's a very good question because I didn't mention that during the presentation. So thank you for that. There are two types, there are multiple types of remanufacturers. Some work by order, let's say, it's recon and return and reconditioning, let's say, meaning you send the part, especially in electronics units, actually. You send the parts, they're repaired, and then it's sent back to you. So it's the same unit, okay? In remanufacturing, in our business model, we work by stock. Meaning we have a stock of cores, 1 million cores, for instance. On average, we have a stock of 1 million cores. And this is what we use to like we remanufacture these cores that we have in stock. And before, launching a new product, we secure some cores in our stock to do it. Which means that you as a customer, you send back the parts, but your garage will already have a remanufactured part of our brand in its portfolio. It's just a way to, yeah. I hope it's clear, but this is how it works. So it's by stock that we work, not by command.
Okay. During the challenge in Manuthon, do you think that you will propose a new documentation, a new data, especially like, for instance, related to the lead time? Because you were mentioning that during the presentation, so maybe more additional details for the students.
We can, of course, provide, I will for sure share this presentation. And then if you, we will, of course, have additional support. Of course, we will be present so we can answer the questions if needed. I would say pretty much all the info related to the challenge are in this presentation. This is the main information needed. The rest is related to research, inspiration. Sometimes even seeing other industries, how they work, can be a way to find. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking that
I will
because
see if we have
yeah,
more
you
than
were
this.
saying that there is a total lead time during the deposit core system, but I was wondering if we can have like a structure of the sub lead times during it, and maybe also propose like a reduction in the cost, like if there are some buffer times and so on, like that the students can focus on a specific unit of the whole process flow rather than the global one, or you prefer that they pitch a total new different system?
I mean, these data can have even fictive ones. It can be because I cannot. I will see this, but I mean it's something disruptive because I mean the deposit system is a traditional way to work. It's hard to answer this.
Maybe we can also brainstorm it. I mean, we have
Yeah, I don't know.
time.
Yeah, because I mean, I can start looking for all the information in supply chain and all, but what information should I bring? It depends on the questions that someone working on the project. So I'd say the best way is if there are questions, you can ask us, and then based on that, we give you the answer. But to bring all the information, it's hard because there are too many data and considerations, and also it's a complex way to do so.
I would add one point also because it's a network, so it's very difficult to fix one specific lead time, as it's a network of actors. So again, then the specific number could be quite misleading in some cases if you pick, I mean, if you choose one number for, I mean, one specific value for the lead time. Again, Mariam, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say that the problem is really at network level.
That's why I said it's very complex, because there are too many data, information and all to know and centralize and assess which one is more relevant than the other. It can be misleading even for me to decide. So I'd rather not focus on. I mean, I think it's not about the technicalities and the details of the lead time, etc. It's rather about the paradigm of this, let's say, core deposit system. How can we kind of replace it in a way? So it's really disrupting the current business model.
Yeah, so even also proposing a totally new, different core deposit system. Yeah,
exactly. The idea is to suppress, to forget that it's how it's done, and to say, let's eliminate it. That's the assumption. How can we do? And let's find alternatives. So
Giovanni, do you want
Yes,
to say
thank you.
something?
I would have the following question. Which kind of equipment is typically available at the deposit site? So they do they have the chance to check, to inspect the damaged part, the received from the garage, or not? Because if they have some instruments and sensors and so on, they may provide some more detailed information about the damaged part. Otherwise, they cannot.
you mean, do we have an automated, let's say, process to handle this crediting system? This is like if we, how do we handle it?
No,
I think it's more on the inspection side at the garage and at the remanufacturer.
Yeah, that okay. That it's mainly we have, let's say, conditions that we share with our wholesalers, distributors, and all. I will share them. That it's available on the website. So we have them. So, for example, the pulley is completely broken. A picture showing the pulley, then eliminated, etc., etc. So these are the criteria. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky, because if an alternator, sometimes it's the interior of the alternator that is somehow broken, and our operators recognize that with sometimes the smell and things like that. So it can be complex, but we try to really detail it in the crediting criteria that we share with the pictures and all. but no matter what, it can, because the issues are also related to parts that come back that are not the right parts. It can be sometimes identification wise it's not okay, sometimes the unit is like has a small default that can. But no matter what, we're in contact with the distributors, and if they're not okay with the crediting, we give the proof for that. So, for example, if we say this amount, of course, has not been accepted, we justify it if they ask. So we.
But sometimes they have some at the deposit level. They have some difficulty in understanding the problem, how much it is damaged the part. And so because it is not, as you mentioned, it is not so clear in many cases. So they cannot know in advance the level of fault, of damage that is affecting the components. So
Absolutely.
this is one of the problems that they are facing now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I mean,
Okay.
I mentioned this because I want to highlight why this deposit system is a burden. This clarifying the crediting criteria, no matter how we're trying, it's complicated because you will always have someone who will say, but why I thought it was okay. Also, especially that, I mean, it's the workshop that sent back the parts, and then the wholesalers usually they don't want to recheck after, so they send sometimes directly all the parts that they receive from the workshop. They don't even check, and we are the ones who check. So they rely on our assessment for that. So no matter what, they will complain because the garages, they just put the part on the box and close it, and they don't check anything. So this is also a highlight that I didn't do. It's different way of handling, because the garage, no matter what, he's reimbursed. The crediting does not exist. Puts back the unit or she, and then it goes back, and the money is back. But the wholesaler, the 1 million, I don't know, let's say 1 million, if they're big distributors, sorry, they have 1 million cores with I don't know, 15 different remanufacturers with 15 different crediting criteria, because we're not all aligned. They don't spend time in that. They give us all of that. So we have a lot of cores that are not okay. And then we have this whole, so it's also a burden for us. That's also why we want to suppress,
I understand.
suppress it, because it's a burden from the whole chain. Yeah, thank you for the question. It's interesting.
Is there any other question from the student? Avete qualche altra domanda? Anche in italiano? Sì.
Igor, prego.
Buonasera a tutti, chiedo scusa se non parlo in inglese, è una giornata un po' lunga, quindi vorrei fare la domanda in italiano, mi scusi ancora. Io vorrei chiedere, i pezzi che vengono poi rigenerati in azienda con le loro componenti e i processi per farlo, per esempio che sono la rettifica, la lesatura, oppure se magari si tratta di un alternatore, i filamenti di rame vengono smontati e rimontati, tutte queste cose sono macchinari che in azienda ci sono, oppure magari qualcosa la comprano da altri rifornitori per poi magari fare altri processi. Chiedo giusto per capire se per la sfida magari bisognerà anche capire se gli eventuali pezzi poi andranno lavorati a macchine o meno, insomma, solo questo volevo chiedere. Grazie.
Maria Chiara, vuoi rispondere o traduco in inglese?
Rispondo in italiano, intanto traduco in inglese. Allora, loro hanno già tutti i processi tecnologici per fare la maggior parte della maggior parte delle operazioni di remanufacturing. Miriam, the question was about the specific remanufacturing processes, like grinding and like some milling operations and some, like all those operations that you're doing in the remanufacturing plant. So the question was whether you can share in case some details about the specific manufacturing technologies that you have, so that in case they can take them into account into the overall problem.
That we have no problem. So I will share this with you.
Like for
It will not
instance, he was
be.
mentioning the windings and or I mean all the copper parts and
But that is again. This is remanufacturing processes depending also on the condition of the part that we receive. Meaning the process will vary. I mean, we have workstations that are the same, let's say, but sometimes the process will be different depending on the part and how it is. And that's why it's a very manual industry, because it relies quite a lot on the expertise also on of the people working, and this variability creates a blockage in automating processes in many ways. Which means that it's complicated to, again, it's similar to the core deposit. We have too many datas. The process we have, I mean, again, we remanufacture 2,000 different types of alternator. So if you want specificities on the product that we manufacture, it means that I need to give you the specificities of 3,000 products that in one product group, which is very complex. So again, do not focus, that's my recommendation, on the technicalities or the details. It's rather the business model that is challenged here. It's a business model challenge. It's a change of paradigms challenge, and how to do so. How can we do so? This is what we're asking. So we're not asking to go too deep into data analysis and production processes analysis, etc. Because, for example, the core deposit system, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the reverse logistic. So it stops at the moment we start production. As long as we have the core, we start production, and that's it. So if you want specific information, you know what you want exactly, you can then tell us, and we can give you the info and respond. But finding the info in general, it's really it's
and
really
Mariam,
way too complex.
would you say that it's better from the perspective of technologies, of hard technologies, to maybe for the students to understand better the inspection technologies that could be used rather than the remanufacturing technologies?
That is yeah. That we can, of course, share, because, for example, we have a core recognition system in our plants where that we have an AI that automatically recognizes the core that is arriving and on what reference it is. We're also, I mean, for the crediting, we're trying to automate through Reuman, actually, the crediting process for our customers, meaning instead of having operators calculating, we're trying to have an AI doing so automatic. So that I will share, let's say, what we have in terms of reverse logistic technologies, because I think this will be pertinent here rather than production. We'll get lost in production, I think.
Yeah. Igor, I think, was the student. Chiaro? Cioè, siamo andati un po' avanti col discorso, però spero sia tutto chiaro.
Sì, è tutto chiaro, grazie mille.
We have another question from Raffaele. Can you please provide us some more details about the deposit dimensions?
You mean the amounts, like the price of the deposit? This is...
Sorry for the confusion here, because probably there's a false friend in English. So deposit in English is strictly related to value terms, like monetary terms, like euros, while in Italian, deposit means also the storage. So I'm not sure whether deposit is like the warehouse or the value for money.
Okay, maybe
warehouse.
The warehouse. Okay. Yeah, that I will see. I will share with you. I will write it down so I can. Is it maybe one question more to Giovanni, Miriam? I mean, here, is it better if I send it back by email, for example, these informations, and disseminate it, or it's during the Manuthon that we will be sharing them? I don't know how.
I think directly during the challenge. at the beginning of it.
Okay, so thank you. Then I will do that.
Ok, do we have any other question? Altre domande? Non mi sembra. Okay, so thank you very much, Miriam and Maria Chiara, for your time and your useful information for everything. And so we will see you at the Manuthon itself.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you all. And see you all soon, hopefully.
Good luck. Good luck, everybody.
And good luck, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Ciao.
soon.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.